and there must have been like 100 people that came up to us that day and said, "Oh, where'd you get those? Those are so cool." And like, "Where can we get those?" And we're like, "Oh, we made them ourselves." And everyone was kind of like disappointed that they couldn't buy their own. So that's like where we knew we had to take like another step forward.
We help people with ideas get them to revenue. All right, welcome to another podcast of 52 Launch. This is part of our entrepreneur series. Today we've got a couple of entrepreneurs who have brought together a product. You guys want to just quickly introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Brian Wilcox.
I'm Tyler Wilcox.
And you guys are the inventors of Chute 21, Dart Linx, and probably about half a dozen others that are in your pipeline, right?
Sounds good. Sounds about right.
So I introduced you guys as entrepreneurs, not inventors. And why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it is what you guys have brought to the table. So I guess we invented the product, but didn't know really how to do anything from there. Once we got the idea and found out a lot of people were interested in it, I had to figure out what to do next. And I honestly had no idea until we saw or found you guys,
Well, cool.
and made us into kind of entrepreneurs.
Well, and I think that's exactly the journey that, inventing is one thing, but the 99% of the execution is part of the entrepreneurial process. And I think a lot of people miss that. So again, this is a series to help other people that are at that point. We're going to talk about with you guys the history and when it started, but let's just discuss the first product, Chute 21. So help us understand really quickly, what is this game about?
Tyler, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so it's a vertical kind of like cornhole, and you play just like that. You have bean bags and you want to throw them and try and get them in the chute up here, and there's like a little top just like cornhole is.
Introducing the newest backyard game, Chute 21. Chute 21 is the ultimate backyard game. Land a beanbag on the platform for 1 point, or get the beanbag down the chute for 3. Bring Chute 21 with you to barbecues, tailgates, the beach, or even play at night with the light feature. First team to 21 points wins. Get some friends together and enjoy the thrill of playing Chute 21.
And it's very hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
So, you have, like you said, it's vertical, it's closer together, but the bean bags are smaller, and the hole that you have to get into it will shoot down through the pipe so that you can pick them up at the end. It's, very, very smart. So,
well, I think what's the great feature about this is cornhole is a wonderful game, more so for adults, because not only the bags are kind of heavy for kids to play, but you also are standing quite a far distance away, and basically really only play it, outdoors unless you have a massive basement with high ceilings. This game was more designed for, you can take it anywhere. It packs up easily. No
one moves a cornhole if they do.
Exactly.
It's like
break their back. But what's nice about it is that anybody can really play this game. Anybody. What we learned as well is that you can actually take one of the towers out and make it even shorter, and people can actually play
taller.
Or taller as well. So it's a really cool spin-off of obviously extremely popular game called cornhole.
Well, that was kind of the whole origin of it. Was we go to a lot of tailgates, and every time we go to a tailgate, people are bringing out cornhole, right? So, but it plays at 30 feet, 27 feet apart, plus the boards and the space you need to play. And in a parking lot, that space gets eaten up very quickly as the parking lot fills up. Then you're left with no space. You can't play behind your car because everyone else is tailgating. So we decided we wanted to try to figure out a game. It was actually Tyler's idea, let's figure out a time or a game that we could play behind the tailgate that's still fun, that, is still challenging. And at a tailgate, as you see, there's always a lot of pop-up tents. So we're also like, how do we get it inside? What can we play inside of a tent in the space behind your tailgate?
So Tyler, how many iterations, like how many different ideas did you come up with before you came up with the vertical one?
It must have been like a dozen or so before we thought of if we made it, because making it smaller, it would be just kind of there's already versions of it that are just smaller. So we wanted to do something different, and we thought, why not just go up and make it a taller, so that way it's still going to be challenging and its own new product.
Awesome.
So Tyler, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 16.
16 years old. And when did you start thinking about this product?
I was in like it was during COVID, so I was in 6th grade, I think.
Wow, good. I'm surprised your parents, made you go back to school. I mean, it was such a successful
Is that where all the
product.
inventions come from? The basement? You keep Tyler down there? The
garage.
Don't come up till you have a new idea? All right.
Well, I mean, we were stuck at home just like everyone during COVID, and I'm very handy. I have a lot of tools, and we decided the garage had to be clean, so we cleaned out the garage, and after that, we wanted to do something together and build something. So we built our own custom cornhole boards, like beautiful boards made out of 100% PVC, so they're waterproof. And then after that, we decided to keep going. We made a giant Jenga set. Again, another like kind of tailgate game. That's big and heavy though.
Yeah.
And then Tyler's like, well, let's do something else. Let's do something that we could play at the tailgate it's not heavy and doesn't take up a lot of space. And so then we started to mess around, and he came up with like, hey, let's do it tall. Let's do a tube or like a tower or something like that. So we started messing around with pipes and tubes and all sorts of things before we kind of settled on, this kind of set, and then figuring out how far apart we should play. And I mean, we were
whole
playing in the
rules
driveway,
and-
like different times and like all different iterations before we kind of found what we thought to be the sweet spot of being able to play 8 to 10 feet apart, which is under behind a tailgate or under a pop-up
Under
tent.
a pop-up,
But it could also be played, like you said, anywhere. It could be played indoors, in someone's apartment, a
Yeah.
small space that you can't play most other tailgate
See,
games.
that is the difference between an inventor and an entrepreneur, is that you're already starting to talk about where else it can be used. And we always tell our clients during the marketing phase of any product that you really don't know how people are going to use this until they use it, right? We got phone calls from teachers that wanted to buy these for their students at school because it's a game that can be played in a smaller space. It's less dangerous having these light bean bags versus the heavy one. And surprisingly, we didn't think of it as a product that teachers would want, but we've had
Yeah.
multiple calls from teachers that are looking at
Having
this
gym
game.
class, stuff like that. We also, we actually got approved. We're going to a brewery to start a Chute 21 challenge. So they've allowed us in Westboro, so you guys should probably come and be part of that.
Cool.
But the part I want, and I agree, an inventor kind of will iterate and go without flexibility. So when did you guys realize you had something that was beyond, like you could have gone and taken the ones you made and just gone and played them, right? Mission
You're right.
accomplished. What made you guys take another step?
So we were at actually a Patriots game, and we were tailgating, and we brought our own like set out, and there must have been like 100 people that came up to us that day and said, "Oh, where'd you get those? Those are so cool." And like, "Where can we get those?" And we're like, "Oh, we made them ourselves." And everyone was kind of like disappointed that they couldn't buy their own. So that's like where we knew we had to take like another step forward in the.
I also got a couple offers to buy it. Like, well, can I buy this one? And I'm like, no, I custom made this. And like, a couple people threw a couple $100 figure at me, and I'm just like, I could make my own again, I guess, after this. But like, I didn't end up doing it. But other people were saying, you should take this. You should do this. This is a great invention.
Well, as part of this podcast is for teaching and learning. I just want to make sure anybody that's out there listening to it, Tyler, you just hit the magic words. Where can I get this? And when someone's disappointed that they can't buy the one you have, it's like Monopoly. Don't pass go. Don't collect 200. Go straight to invention, to entrepreneurism, because that's exactly what you're looking for. If you already know that someone's willing to buy it, to your point where you said it's $200 out of pocket and it made you think, that is exactly the moment. I think a lot of people miss that, right? They're afraid, and I get it. There's a fear factor of, what if I was wrong, right? So how did you overcome that? Or are we still in that zone? Like,
Honestly, without you guys, I don't think I would have overcome that, right? Because I looked at, if I wanted to try to make these myself, I'm like, all right, how many could I make a week? I wasn't able to get this off the ground. And then I knew I don't have any marketing expertise. I have nothing else. So I needed help if I was going to bring this to the next step, because to manufacture these yourself, it would be too slow of a process. It wouldn't be worthwhile. So
so you said someone helped you find us?
it was really my wife.
So she gets all the
Who
credit. Tyler,
found-
you're out.
Right. So as most times she should deserve and get most of the credit, but like she's the one who she found you guys. She goes, I've heard of this product, heard of this company. They're great. Look, they're going to hold your hand. And then I was, I was a little suspect. I didn't believe her right away, because I'm a stubborn dummy. And
Well, no,
she kept saying, no, this is what we want. This is exactly what you need. And that's when I called you guys.
Well, let me look. We got to give a plug here too. Can we bring the accountant over of the family just so you can say hello for a second, because you certainly do deserve the credit if.
Since you got called out.
Yes, I like the internet, so I was checking things out, and that's how I found you guys.
Awesome.
And yeah, it worked out. I emailed you a couple of times, I think, for a different thing. I think originally that one product, but then Chute 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that when you guys first came in, or when we first talked. That was, and look, we get that a lot. It's too good to be true, because there's a lot of invention help companies out there that talk the talk but don't get through the manufacturing part.
Sure.
This without the manufacturing part, I still question what would you be doing.
No, it's hard. You have no direction. You have no idea what to start with. Like the first step's the hardest step. So unless you have any help, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
You guys step in.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Cool. Well, we appreciate that, really do. I mean, so when you guys called us,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You had kind of said that it was suspect at best, right? So what helped you overcome that?
I think when we first came in with you guys, some of it was your excitement. Like it wasn't just Mike. I was excited about the product, and so was Tyler. We thought this was great, but then you guys seemed, not just you, like your team, like this is great. This is a great product. We think you have a winner, and we can actually help you go about doing this. And then you started to lay out kind of easy to follow concrete steps, because I thought it was just this, void. I don't know even where to start, but you had a clear, defined starting point, and I don't know, like oriented goals on how to keep bringing this up or how to bring this to market. That I would have never, even if I did research on the internet to do it myself, I wouldn't have been. I'd still be at home. I'd still be in my garage playing this by myself or with my son. We wouldn't have taken it to the next step, because there's nothing out there that steps you through this
Yeah,
very well. So
so in that, because I'll admit, as a company, I think the biggest criticism, it's not criticism, it's just it's feeling, it's emotion, is that everything should go faster. How much I know what you guys came in with, a pretty fleshed out concept, right? If we had manufactured exactly what you brought us, would it be the same game as it is right now?
I think so.
The tube, like the way you guys made it out of tube?
I mean, it's the same height. We didn't have a name for it, right? So we had kind of brainstormed. We came up with a bunch of stupid, lame names that didn't really make any sense until your team came up with lists of words and terms and, things that then all of a sudden, like, how did we not think of this? Like, it seems so simple when you look back. How did we not think of some of these things? But,
Was it collaborative?
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Just so you folks understand out there, we're not spoon feeding our clients to say exactly what we want them to say. I think, Pete, what your question was more intended to mean is that you guys came in with a product. We kept the concept right, but we went to a clear tube. We added lights to it.
Oh, sure.
So those are some of the changes that the team made, because we felt that it made it a little bit more fun, more appealing, and also, let's face it, at night when anything is lit up, it looks kind of cool. So we made slight changes to it, but kept the overall game. We didn't change the rules. You guys came up with the rules, and I just look. We say this all the time. The best inventions are just simply a better mousetrap, and this is really what this is. I mean, cornhole arguably is one of the greatest games of all time. And this is just a better version, in our opinion, of cornhole. It's portable, it's extremely light, comes in a bag, you can take it along with you. It's not just for tailgating, it's for the beach, it's for your basement, it's for parties. It just, wherever you want to play cornhole but can't, this is the version that allows you to play it. And again, it's a game for kids to 90 years old. I mean, you can play this game.
Yeah. So clearly, the product you brought wasn't in a box.
No,
No.
it was big, bulky. It didn't break down. It was heavy. Like it was, it was a prototype made out of materials that I could find in the store and
Right.
then make. Which is
Yeah.
one of the, I couldn't do what you guys have done. Certainly going to the clear tube was, I think, brilliant. But I didn't have anything. You can't buy a clear tube really out there
Right,
that's
you have to make
stand
it.
up and right. You'd have to make it. So like that was a great change that like I didn't really see coming. That you guys really, really I think hit a home run with because being able to see the go down, whether it be at night or not, it's rewarding. You see it go in there, you see it come out like
It pops out. It's kind
yeah,
of
you
cool.
know,
Yeah.
it's definitely cooler than just the solid ones that I had come up with.
Yeah, well, that's part of the difference is that you're focused on making a prototype. Ours is making a manufacturable product, right? So where you're limited, this is where now we're unlimited, and that's again, great collaboration on how this turned out. I love it, and I appreciate hearing about the naming, because again, every name that comes in, I don't always have the heart to tell everybody that like it's probably not available because of a trademark or someone else has got it.
Well,
So
that's what we talked about. The original name was going to be Tower Toss, but it was already taken. So,
it was already taken.
which, by the way, is also a good name. But again, we want to make sure that people can save money, right? You need to have money to market the product. So, although the name's important, it's not paramount to a product's success.
So Tyler, where were you involved in this? Were you approving everything as we were making it too?
Yeah, like my dad, he was getting like all the emails and stuff, but he was running everything by me. I think I actually picked the name of Shoot 20, like we got the list and like I pointed that one out and I was like, that's like the best name I thought
All right.
too. And I'd like the logo too. When you're designing the logo, I thought this was definitely the best one out of all like the options that were sent to us.
Cool. How many options do you guys think you looked at?
Oh, you probably sent us originally a couple dozen options, and then we whittled it down to like a few other good ones that we shared with friends and family. And then, I asked for your guys' feedback as well, because, I'm not a visual artist. That's not really my expertise. But we really liked the way that, the shoot came up, the beanbag, the action. So I'm not sure who on your team did the drawing and designed it, but like this is the one we decided on. It's great. That's the one that you guys ended up keeping.
Well, I mean, looking at the packaging and the colors and I mean, yeah, as I think it's a team effort. I can't single somebody out to just say they've done one part. It comes together because everybody that's doing their part does a good job, and then it comes to the point where you guys get to approve it and say this is where it goes. Obviously, I give a shout out to Alex. He's our cameraman, but he's also videographer and photographer. So all those
Does
shots
all the
are,
creative.
final images are his. So again, it's a complete team effort, and I agree with you. I mean, I know how hard it is to do it with a team. I couldn't imagine anybody trying to do this solo.
Now, you had said that. Actually, you haven't said it. What is your background? What do you do for work?
So I own and operate my own home inspection company, Safeguard Home Inspection out of Billerica, Mass. So that is sometimes more than a full-time job. I can be working anywhere from 40 to 70 hours a week. So, the time I had for this was already limited. It helped during COVID because that's when I had the time to build it and so forth. But after we came out of COVID and my business started taking off again, I didn't have the time and effort to put towards this. And, thank God I had found you guys because you're the ones who picked up the ball and were able to run with it, because I would have moved at a snail's pace. I would have perhaps even dropped it and just been happy with just the prototype that I made and, played at my own tailgates.
And how much time would you say you had to spend when you hired us for the accelerator program? How much time did you spend per week or per month? Basically getting information from us and making decisions. I mean, was it a lot of your time? Was it a little of your
Did we
time?
harass you?
No, it wasn't. It was probably only a couple hours a week. It all depends, because when like the logos would come out,
Right.
we'd look through and I'd spend 3 or 4 hours on that, but then a week or two would go by and wouldn't spend much time. It was the amount of time that I only had to dedicate to it,
Right.
which was which was good. Because working full time, I didn't have a lot of time to do all the things that you guys were doing.
Yeah.
So
And look, as a company, our biggest growth spurt as a company was also during COVID. And you can tell why.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys both, I mean, you became an entrepreneur during COVID. So a lot of good things happened from you being home and probably not being in school full time. And same with your dad not being out. You guys had a chance to get together and start working on projects, and you weren't alone. I mean, a lot of people, we got swamped during COVID with people staying home and just tinkering and coming up with, some really cool ideas. So I guess not a lot of bad things. I mean, a lot of bad things came out of COVID, but a lot of good things as well.
If there's any, what are next steps here? I know that we're actively involved, so there's a bit of a uniqueness to this product that, we liked it to a point where it's, bringing a product to market and buying inventory and staying on top of marketing, that becomes a more full-time job, I would say. I'm not sure if we approached you or you approached us, Brian. I don't remember, but we came together and we essentially flip-flopped the relationship where instead of Brian spending money to launch the product successfully, we basically took over and we give the family a royalty deal in perpetuity. I think it's sometimes a tough decision to make, but at the same time, it was the right decision for the Wilcox family. And it's because Tyler spends all his money on fancy clothes. He didn't have the startup money.
And the good thing is that, and we can't promise this to happen to everybody that works with us, but this product did go viral. We had, I think we're up to 4 million views and thousands of shares, which obviously is, that's a viral situation, and it sold out of our, basically out of our first container, and now we're looking for more inventory. We've ordered more. We've quadrupled our order. We went from a container to 5 containers. And that's the relationship now. I'm certain that you guys are happy or will be happy. So it's a unique situation, but it's it's one that we wanted to be part of. We felt like this product was going to be a home run from day one, and it's proven to be one. So,
well, I actually remember the day that we had a video call, and you're like, okay, we've come up with everything, we're ready to manufacture, right? Which is then the next conversation is the financial implication of how much it costs to manufacture. And that was one conversation. Then you said, well, what about your marketing budget? Now, you guys do a great job at starting out on the marketing budget, but it's an ongoing, and I had zero marketing budget. And I think that's when you both seem like, well, we think this could be you guys said this could be a big product, but it requires a much bigger, more involved marketing. And I didn't have the means to do it or the expertise. And I think that's when you guys said, would you consider selling the product or having us take over for the royalty deal? And what you probably didn't know was when I hung up, like, biggest smile came over my face because I didn't have the money to bring it to where you guys have brought it to now. Like, I couldn't even envision.
See, that's the difference between being in your 40s and being in your 60s. I don't remember things. He obviously remembered precisely what happened.
I remember hanging up. First thing I did was call my wife. I'm like, this is great. I might not have to worry about coming up with, 6 figures to get this manufactured and, a marketing budget and an ongoing marketing budget. And just, it was a great day.
Yeah.
Well, look, to Dan's point, you were also selected, and it worked out because you guys are very open-minded and we're able to do this.
And also, most importantly, in my opinion, you guys were really fun to work with and easy to work with.
Right.
Not to say that, that's paramount. It's a pressure situation being an entrepreneur and making decisions and spending money on something you're not 100% sure is going to be successful. But again, I always say this, we wouldn't let you hire us if we didn't really love the product and feel that we could help sell the product. So it's important to us that we have, ecstatic clients. I love the fact that you played your cards and said that you had a big smile on your face after you hung up with us, because obviously I didn't know that, and it's nice to hear that you were excited with that deal. Look, it's led us now to another product that we're in the middle of manufacturing, and I'll take this from you, Tyler. And by the way, you guys are taking that
Well, while
home.
Tyler's doing that, I was just going to give us a little, not us a plug, but a shout out to the investor world out there, right? There is no shortage of inventors that have great ideas that can get to a certain point. There's a tremendous blockage of investors that could help. So again, when I say we were a bit selective, I have someone who invented something at a young age. We are on a quest to prove that people can wake up in the morning at your age, have an idea, get it worked out, flushed out. The challenge is now it's the big conversation. How do I come up with the money to really launch this successfully? To Dan's point, I'm not saying you shouldn't go to high school, but I think entrepreneurism.
No, you should go to high school and college.
I'm just saying, I think entrepreneurism is something that everyone should be taught at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Go and start learning how to make something, hustle it, own a product, own a business. You learn a lot. The call out is to investors, right? If you're looking for a business plan and you're looking for SBA loans, that's junk. Take a chance on some of our young entrepreneurs here. Get involved. Call Dan or myself, and let's start putting some money together, because there is another 1,000 Tylers out there, and again, it's a unique trait that if you don't capitalize on it now, by the time you're 25 and 30, you're going to forget about it.
Right.
And that's when you have the confidence at your age to be an entrepreneur, the world's at your fingertips.
Right. But also, let's be clear too that if you have an idea, you're not just calling us and saying, "Hey, would you buy my idea?" We're not in the idea buying business.
No, it's the execution.
Brian and his family they went through the accelerator program. We did all of the work with their direction, and it came to a point where the next big check that the family was going to have to write.
You guys covered the tooling. I mean, you guys got to the point where you guys were probably going to order maybe 500 units, where we were talking, let's get to
containers.
Let's get to 10,000 units in the short period of time. So that was really the conversation.
Right.
That's where look at everybody has to scratch together the initial funds, but for the growth of the business.
I mean, I had no intent on, I had every intent on keeping this and running it and doing it myself. But then I realized what it takes to really bring it to market in a big way, not in this, kind of slow way I was going to bring it.
Yeah.
With my
You
means
saw the
and thank
bigger
God for you guys.
opportunity
Yeah.
of-
Well, you guys saw the bigger opportunity.
we did as
and,
well.
Yeah. Or
thought it
somehow
was
you
going to be a
convinced
winner.
us, and
And
you're better at home inspections than I realized.
So now we're on to, again, because of the
COVID.
awesomeness of working with these guys, they're, again, so easy to work with that their second idea, which is arguably even better than their first one, we'll see, is, well, I'll let you explain it.
So it's called Dart Linx. So everyone has darts. It's like one of the most common things that people like play on the side, but it's kind of boring after a while. It's all the same thing. You have to write down all your scoring. It takes a while. This is just
You have the traditional dart on the other side, right?
yeah, the dart one right here.
Dartboard there, and then
it's never changed. I mean, that dartboard has been the same
forever.
forever.
Yeah.
And there is, I have seen a baseball version of the game, but the rules aren't clearly spelled out, and it's harder to play. It's really not that fun to play.
Yeah, well, look at baseball is no longer American sport, so golf is actually more watchable than baseball.
It's a golf dart game,
Yeah,
Tyler?
so it's golf dart. You throw darts at it. You got to get the darts in the fairways and the different holes. It's really fun, actually.
So wait, what are the rules? So I see them. I see they're numbered, right? So I got fairway 1. Is that where I start?
Yeah, you start and you go hole by hole, and
what do I do?
I think you gotta get 2 darts in each fairway before you gotta go for the green, and then you go from each hole, go around until you finish that
And
hole.
there's
What
some
happens
laws
when you
or
get into the water or the sand?
water or sand?
So if you
So
hit
my-
the sand or the water on your first 2 darts, you lose your third dart, right? So it's kind of like a hazard. You hit the water, hit the sand, lose your third. It's a penalty. Only on that hole. You hit if you're on hole number 1 and you hit something else, that's just out of bounds, no harm, no foul. But if you hit the water or the sand hazard, you lose your third dart. If it happens on the third dart, no harm, no foul. It's your last dart anyway. So again, just like any dart game, it's played with 3 darts. This is played with 3 darts. You need 2 in the fairway. Once you have 2 in the fairway, you can go for the green. Now you don't have to do it all in one throw. So say you throw 3 darts, you get 1 in the fairway and the other 2 don't do anything. The next time you need to get 1 more in the fairway and then in the green, then you can go to hole number 2.
Yeah.
So it doesn't require like math like some of the other dart games do. And you can see there are a lot bigger areas. So this is a lot more accessible to people who may not have wanted to play darts or played darts and realized they're terrible at it, because there's always someone who's really good at darts who can throw. So this is meant to be more accessible to
Right.
the masses rather than just people who are in dart leagues or, are maybe more familiar with,
Well,
with
we
darts.
hung this up as a second idea in the office, and I can tell you, it gets played all the time.
Yeah.
Like, even when someone just needs a breather, like, you can see them grab the darts and just start, because they instinctively know what to do.
Sure.
And you're right, it's not as intimidating as darts, where you're counting or you're bullseyeing to win. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
and this
very
is,
cool.
and again, this is made, this is a Sissel dartboard. It's right. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Sissel,
Sissel.
yeah. And very heavy. I mean, it's quality made.
What's a professional dartboard?
Yeah, it's a professional dartboard, exactly. Yeah, so we decided to, we went back and forth. What do we do? 18 holes? Do we do 9 and then 9 on the back 9, right, and flip it over? It's a version that we may come. That may be version 2 or 3 down the road. But we also wanted to make have a regular dartboard on the back, so people have the opportunity to.
Well, it's a better mousetrap. Our marketing team kind of decided that, like, we should be in the traditional dart space, but offer a value proposition that no one else has.
Right.
So that's why we decided, instead of making it 18 holes, let's start with the traditional and 9. And then as we get followers and as we get, we can start changing the landscape. Like, there's a lot of flexibility and uniqueness that we can bring to the table here.
Yeah.
So
And also we can, if a golf course wanted to buy it, we could have their name embedded in the product as well. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. It's a better mousetrap,
Yeah.
right? Everybody knows what darts are. They've seen them everywhere. This is just a better version of the original dartboard game.
all right.
And
What's the next 10 ideas, Tyler?
I don't know yet.
Seems like you have to be challenged. We have to give you a challenge and you come with the
Yeah.
perfect solution.
Yeah. So, getting back, so we've got a couple products going. One's manufactured, one's in the middle of being manufactured. For those of you that are going to be at the Red Sox game on Friday, the whole crew's going out and playing Chute 21 on the sidewalks of Fenway Park. Obviously, we're going to have a great deal of reaction. People are going to want to play it, just as they did when you were at the tailgate. And we're going to have Alex and his team creating some more content and getting people excited. So if you happen to be in town,
Yeah.
stop by and play the game.
Well, I'll challenge you guys too, because we're starting to kick around the idea of having a Chute 21 tournament, hosting it here and making it live. So, hitting the local pubs, breweries, wherever we can. Sign up your team, 2-player teams, and winner takes some sort of prize home. So we're looking to do that and making this like a bit of a live entertainment sport as well.
Excellent.
Are they going to possibly win a car? Because Brian will give us his family car
Yeah.
giveaway.
Yeah. Tyler owns a 1997 Tercel, so that's his future car. We'll give that one away. No, we're going to put a nice prize. It's probably going to be like a trip to somewhere and some cash and fun. But the idea is, like, we want to start thinking about turning this into a tournament thing where people can buy a few, host their own little tournaments at home, practice, and come and play to our official league once a year.
Awesome.
So
That sounds great.
yeah, so you guys can definitely still, you guys are still a very big part of this, and want to make sure, like, anything you want to be involved in, like, please, let's. This is such a collaborative effort. I want to, this isn't about anything other than making this young man proud and successful at what he started off to, and all you
Getting
guys
him
for
into college.
supporting it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a huge college party.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I mean, we could go on all day about this, but someone has to go to school.
Yeah.
He's got a baseball game tonight, or practice at least. So.
Awesome. I was going to say, I appreciate you guys very much.
Thanks for having us.
Last question. If there's one thing that we could have done better in our process, what would that have been?
Oh, it's a tough question. I really haven't. I don't know. You guys have really been a pleasure to work with, and I think it's both. It's the enthusiasm, you and your team. Every time I come in, you're excited to see us, and you always have another idea, and I don't know. I don't really
Yeah.
have any
Yeah.
negatives.
Yeah, I think everything's been great so far. Like, I don't really have any complaints.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it is a roller coaster, right? There was days where it's like, hey, is this really going to happen? And isn't, but
Yeah.
look at
Everything
the,
takes longer than you expect.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean,
to get it right.
yeah. We have our own products as well that we've invented and brought to market. And look at, we're in the same situation. I'm frustrated, too, at times when things take a while longer than I expected. But like, we don't live in a perfect world, and we're dealing with, people that are, tens of thousands of miles away, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, when something like this shows up at your door, you can't help but have a smile on your face. I mean, it's exciting. It's like, I always tell people, other than having children, which you're not ready for, but your parents had you, to me, bringing a product to market is just like having a kid. It's awesome. I mean, when we start seeing this on store shelves, and I'm sure when you guys went on Amazon and you saw it there, you're like, oh my God, there's my product.
Yeah.
And, that's exciting. And we're excited for you. And again, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to meet you guys, and hopefully it's not the last thing that we do for you.
So last
too.
thing I'll ask is for the audience, please, you're supporting entrepreneurs here. You've met them now, so go online, go to Chute 21, buy one, buy two, start your own tournament, your club, have fun with it. But at the end of the day, this is a moment where if you're an entrepreneur, you've got to help the entrepreneurs ahead of you and behind you. So get them, support Tyler and his family, and share it, like it, follow it, and give them a good review.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys very much for coming.